Well, the baseball season is put on hold, but that doesn't mean video games are put on hold. RBI Baseball 20 is the fourth installment in the RBI franchise, at least on the Nintendo Switch. And this year, RBI Baseball 20 has made a lot of improvements to kind of close the gap in on other competitors. What's up, guys? Patrick from NintenTalk here, and this is my review for RBI Baseball 20 on the Nintendo Switch. Now, I have to start all of these reviews with saying RBI Baseball is not direct competitors with the show. This is much more of an arcade offering. However, this year, the gap is kind of closing, and it's really exciting to see from a sports fan. Now, for starters, the team has made a ton of improvements compared to last year, and the first being the visuals. They're still not, I would say, next-gen graphics, but the graphics are very nice to look at. The lighting is great, the players look great, although not identical to what they actually look like. The faces are better, the crowds are better, having 3D crowds this year, and the lighting is a real bright spot. I was very surprised how realistic the stadiums looked, and some of the players' stances are very realistic to what they actually look like in real life. So the team at RBI has kind of found their groove with the Nintendo Switch and really are taking advantage of the console. Now, by far, the biggest improvements this year are the pitching and batting controls. So let's start with the pitching controls, as I think that this is the most exciting addition this year. So there is a new modern dynamic pitching control. The good thing about this is that you can actually toggle between the modern controls and the classic controls. So if you like more of a retro experience, you can actually change it in these settings at any time to play as the classic RBI controls. But the modern pitching controls are very exciting. So basically, you start in kind of a third-person view, and you have a pitching wheel. So before in the RBI games, you could just throw a fastball, a faster ball, and kind of like a curveball. In this, each player has their unique pitches, and you choose them on the pitching wheel. Now, there is some deeper elements to this. So you hold down the pitching button to give it more power or less power, and it's kind of cool because as you progress in the game, depending on how tired your pitcher is or how confident your pitcher is, the pitch will kind of be easier or harder to control. So if your pitcher is really tired, the pitch will be a lot harder to control, or if you just gave up a home run with your curveball isn't going to be as accurate. So there's definitely a lot more strategy. And like I said before, it's kind of closing in on the gap of what a simulation baseball game is trying to be, because it's always been about just pitching to the batter and the batter hitting. Now you have to take into account how tired your pitcher is, how confident your pitcher is, and kind of adds to the strategy, which is really cool. For the batting control, which you can change back to the retro at any time, the more modern batting controls takes a power gauge into consideration. So the camera is much more down, kind of looks like the show. And basically what you do is you hold down the swing button, which charges up your power meter, and you have to kind of time that with the pitch coming in, and that's how you hit the ball. Now, there are a couple strategies with this. Your player will get tired, so your power meter won't go up as fast. And also, if you charge your power meter too fast and it goes over 100%, the chances of you of hitting a foul ball or a pop-up are greatly enhanced. So you really have to get that timing down. Something still I can't get down. I'm gonna need to play this game more to really perfect it. But I just thought that the modern hitting controls were really awesome. Now, there are also improvements with fielding as well. For the very first time, surprisingly, you can dive with your fielders in the outfield, which creates some awesome plays. And also the base running has improved as well. So now you can toggle individual players and they can advance or steal bases at will. It's much more easier to control than last year, so definitely exciting. Now, the one thing that I've knocked RBI Baseball for before that still hasn't changed is there is no commentary, unfortunately. I think that's the last piece of the puzzle to really make this game a competitor with a game like the show. And really, for the first time, it's going to need to compete with the show because it's coming out next year. So if they add commentary into this game, it's going to be a lot better. Now, with that being said, there are new sounds in the game. There's still kind of an announcer that says ball, strike. He does change it up and he does add in some words now and then. So it's not completely boring. And there are new crowd sounds and whistles and things like that. So it's not too bad. I'm kind of torn because on one end, I do love commentary. That's one of my favorite parts of any baseball game. But at the same time, it's kind of nice to just hear the sounds of the ballpark. But if you get to inning 7 or 8, it really just kind of gets boring and you kind of wish that there was more going on in the game. Now returning to RBI Baseball 20 are some of the other modes that you can expect. First of all, the franchise mode, if you guys are interested, you can choose your favorite team, you can trade players, you can adjust the lineups, you can actually choose from a shorter season or, the same amount of season. So that's kind of cool, especially with the baseball season being delayed. Maybe you want to simulate that a little bit more and shorten up the season. You can trade players at will, just like last year, and I feel like the computer is a little generous with the trading. I still think they haven't really got the realistic nature of trading down yet, but it's still cool that you can go ahead and trade players and add them to your team. Also making its return is the Home Run Derby, which is really fun this year, especially with that new power gauge mechanic. And of course, you can set up your own tournament, you can choose your own player, and you will go through the round just like a normal home run derby with a 4-minute timer. And yeah, you'll go through the tournament and just compete with your favorite player. I can see myself returning to this mode as it's really fun, and especially with the power gauge, it's really fun timing it and seeing how many home runs you can hit. This game, of course, has 20 licensed music tracks, which I feel are a bit lacking compared to last year. I feel like they're very motivating and kind of cheesy at times, to be completely honest. So I found myself kind of shutting the music off at a certain point, but it's nice to have licensed music and stuff like that. So definitely kind of a bright spot depending on your music taste. Overall, RBI Baseball 20 has made great improvements to the overall game. I think they have a very unique pitching mechanic, a very fun, still arcade-like batting mechanic, and the visuals keep improving every single year. In terms of a competitor with a game like the show, I think the gap is slowly closing, but at the same time, this team has to kind of decide, are we an arcade baseball game or are we more of a simulation baseball game? And I think RBI Baseball 20 kind of doesn't know where their identity is. It's a fun game, but is it going to keep my attention all throughout the baseball year? That's kind of up in the air right now. I'm having a lot of fun, but will I go back to this game if I'm playing the show? Or next year, will I want to even buy RBI? I think the biggest thing going for it is $29.99, so it is kind of a budget game. It's half the price of the show, but you're kind of getting half the game in a sense. You're not getting all the simulation aspects of it. You're not getting some of the visuals. You're not getting the commentary. And maybe next year they add some of that stuff to kind of close the gap even more. As far as this game on the Nintendo Switch, I would recommend it. No bugs reported here. There was some slowdown during some of the animation and cutscenes, but nothing to really break the game at all. So overall, RBI Baseball 20 is a great step in the right direction and definitely worth a try for any baseball fan. Thank you guys very much. If you want to check out a 4-inning game, I will post that in the comments section below. You can check that out. And I will see you guys in the next video. Make sure to subscribe if you like these type of reviews. And I will see you very soon. Have a good one.
Strike!